Hello, everybody. This is Astronomy Daily Live. You're talking to Cosmic, and it is 2 hours UTC. So, hey, hope everybody's doing well out there on this planet. Come on in, join the circle of friends where we gather together every single day, same time, usually same place, and we turn off the TV, we forget about the news, and think about the universe. It's a very humbling experience that for me at least allows a not necessarily a unique perspective, but a different kind of perspective on things. And in a certain sense, um, being an astronomer uh, uh, makes me realize two things simultaneously, and it's really strange that these two things can exist sort of simultaneously, at least in my head. Um, Being an astronomer um, helps me realize how small and tiny and just absolutely minuscule I am, much less this planet is, much less uh, the star, this solar system, in a certain sense, even the galaxy, just how small and how we. Um, it always makes me laugh when somebody says they want to go far out into space, just to the edge of the universe and all of that. And the fact of the matter is that we're about as far away from anything as anything else. So right now, sitting right here, right, I am in deep, deep, deep space, and so are you, and so are you, and so is this planet, hurtling, hurtling. Who knows where? Who knows where? So you know, so I can hold that in my head that we are just this tiny, 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 tiny speck of nothing. Okay, we don't really, really, we don't even matter, right? We really don't even matter. We're not making any kind of impact, uh, at least physically, right? We're just not doing anything, not doing anything at all, right? On the other hand, on the other hand, being able to um, have some amount of comprehension, right? Being able to put these huge sizes, huge distances, huge times into into these heads, into these little insignificant, don't matter heads at all, is just absolutely extraordinary, right? That in a certain sense, we can at least have some comprehension. If nothing else, we can observe, right? We can observe, um, pretty much the entire universe we have access to. Um, uh, and yeah, so holding those two things um, in one's head is well, I've I've learned how to do it, but but um, it's very humbling and very awe-inspiring and very exciting, very very exciting because um, we've come so far, right? We've come so far, and yet my sense is that really we don't have a clue. We just don't have a clue. We're having to rely on um, 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 biases that we're not even aware of, right? That we don't even know exist until they're pointed out. And how do you point those things out if you're not even aware of them? So it's the we don't know what we don't know, and that is, I I think that's very, very true in a very, very, very big, big way. We have no idea. Uh, we really, really don't. And uh, but that's, that's what makes some of this life interesting, right? Because, you know, if we knew and understood everything, at least, speaking for myself, if I, knew and understood everything, I would be bored, right? I'd be bored. It's like, well, what do you do when you know everything, um, can do everything? Uh, it's like, there's nothing left. Um, I think it was Alan Watts who talked about this idea of us, you know, having access to like this room full of buttons, right? And um, each of these buttons um, is like a different kind of experience, a different kind of life experience, right? And so you push all the buttons, and there's this one button that says surprise, and when we push that button, here we are. Here it is. Here it is. So we've pushed that surprise button, surprise me button, and oh, here we are. So yeah, I think that's great. Now, speaking of pushing buttons, I'm going to push my tweet button to let the entire world know that I am live streaming now. There it goes. Yay, I remembered. Yesterday I forgot. I had it all set up again and I forgot. So yeah, oh, okay. Hey, everybody's here. Bobby's here. Tom is here. Uncle Bill is here, painting the place yellow. Yeah, very, very cool. Um, uh, yeah, I think Uncle Bill, I think that was a message from the other day about uh, Jill. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, that's the cool thing about a daily live stream every single day, right? Is that um, you you can come in whenever you want. You can come in every day. You can come in every other day, every week, every month, every year, whatever it is. But come on in. Come on in. So we are gathering together on our virtual porch. Thank you, Uncle Bill, for the tw- for the Twitter like. That's yeah. Sometimes I'm gonna remember and sometimes I'm not. That's just the nature of the beast. And if you want to try to remind me, feel free. Feel free. I make no guarantees. So yeah, gathering together on our virtual porch. The sun, the sun has just set here, and it's actually going to be a pretty nice um, evening again here. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing any observing, but I need to get back on that. I need to know what my next step is. I just as a quick update, I recalibrated my binary star data, and I got the same results. I mean, not exactly the same, but um, more or less exactly the same results. So it has nothing to do my the discrepancy I'm seeing between my measurements and Gaia, right, has nothing to do with the brightness of the target. I need to sort of confirm that exactly, but you know, zero point 0.4 magnitudes um, is a pretty consistent thing that I saw when I was looking at the clusters. But I'm going to go back and look at that. So it has nothing to do with brightness. It has nothing to do with calibration. Doesn't have anything to do with exposure time. Doesn't have anything to do with tracking. So it's something else. It's something else. It's I love these kinds of things because what happens in the end is that I learn something new, and I don't know about you, right? But I am totally into novelty. I like to learn and hear about new things, and self discovery is um, definitely. Um, I'm messing with my smartphone here. Self discovery is definitely the hardest, right? It's the hardest way of learning, but it's also the best way because you never forget. You never, ever, ever forget. Now, ideas might get a little bit cloudy, a little bit rusty, a little bit, you got to shake the dust off. But, you know, once you do that, uh, um, uh, uh, I've been on a tweet strike for 2 days, for days. That's that's great. Um, Uncle Bill, you are awesome. You've been a supporter ever since the beginning, and you're great. So if you want to take a break, if you want to go on strike, you go ahead and do that. Do that for sure. Now, I am really really excited um, because today I didn't know that I see. I can't pay attention to everything. There's no way. There's no way. But today, I saw it was this morning, actually, local time. It was probably about maybe 14 hours UTC, maybe 15 hours UTC. My local time, that was like 7 or 8 a.m. I got a tweet from Pamela Gay, and the tweet said, "Oh, by the way, it is dihydrogen monoxide tonight, H2O. Cheers. And and I've got the coffee too. I've got the coffee. So in my nice thick mug, you can see that nice thickly rimmed mug. This is probably my favorite coffee mug that I've ever had. And um, I've had a few. I've had a few, but this one is awesome because it's so nice and chunky. All right, but I got a tweet from Pamela Gay this morning saying that she was going to be starting a new thing, right? And she's calling it the daily space, the daily space, and um, it's I guess what it's supposed to be um, is every weekday at 17 hours UTC, 17 hours UTC. She's going to come on for just a short amount of time. I think she wants to try to keep it pretty short, but she's going to come on and just present a couple of news items, just a couple of news items, something to do, with either space um, um, or astronomy, something like that. So she'll sort of present those. She'll sort of present those, and then she'll do a really really short Q&A. I guess probably focused on those news items, and that's it, right? So she's going to be doing this Monday through Friday. She did say weekdays, um, not the weekends, but it's going to be daily. It's going to be daily. So it's very very cool. This daily live streaming thing most definitely is a wave. It's a wave that everybody is sort of jumping onto, and we'll see who can actually ride it through. It's you know, my sense is is that um, if people doing it sort of consider it a job, or part of their work, like an obligation that has to be done, um, it may not last for them. um, and I I've been doing this just for a short amount of time, really, really short amount of time. Pamela has been doing these kinds of things for years, right? For over a decade, right? For a long, long, long time. Fraser Kane too. He's been doing it for almost 20 years, right? So you know these guys, uh, you know, are definitely at the leading edge for sure. So, but it's just it 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 gives me a little comfort and a little inspiration that those who are really, really experienced in this are also jumping onto this wave, and seeing if they can ride it or not. So Uncle Bill says the daily space doesn't know what it is yet. Yeah, yeah, okay, all right, yeah. I that you know uh, Today was her first one, and yeah, things definitely evolve and grow, for sure. So uh, yeah, yeah, but so very, very exciting. I stayed home a little bit late, uh, just to watch the first one. I guess she's going to post them on YouTube also. She's doing it on Twitter now, but I guess they're going to try to post them onto YouTube. So 17 hours UTC for me is a bit late. Is a bit late. I've got luckily, I guess. Um, I've I've got uh, I've got a pretty flexible work schedule, and I'm also not really full time either. So you know, um, but doing that one, watching that one live, I'm gonna try um, to be on there at least a couple of times a week or so. But otherwise, I'll just catch them on YouTube later. But yeah, I think it's great. That is so awesome. And I mean, she is so cool, right? And she knows her stuff. I mean, she is awesome, very, very awesome. So yeah, very, very great to see that. Cheers. Well, Uncle Bill, the nerd hype will continue, and the thing to do is to just be persistent, and you are for sure. So yeah, just keep it up, and yeah, that's it. That's it. And let me. Did I? Do I still have this? I don't know if I'll be able to find it really, really fast or anything. But let me see if I can. I'm probably not going to be able to find this uh, somewhere. I'm looking over on my Discord server. Um, I'm probably not going to be able to find it. I don't even know. I don't even remember what it's called now. But there was a graphic that um, my wife sent me right after I started this um, live stream, and it's a picture of a little kid playing, some kind of like ukulele or something, and there's a cat um, um, sitting maybe a couple of feet away from him, intently watching, and and the caption says um, uh, something like, uh, even if you just have an audience of one, you're doing great. So, and I'm ruining that. It's much better than that. You know what? I think I've got it. I think I've got it on my Linux machine here. I let me see if I can find it really, really quick. I think it's on my desktop. I'm not going to be able to find it fast enough. I know that. Let's see. Would have been like way, way, way back in time. Let's see. Can I find it or can't I? Hey, there's Gilles. I recognize Gilles is in the chat. Yoo-hoo! Am I going to be able to find that or not? No, it doesn't look like I'm going to. Oh, well. Anyway, the point is, stick to it. You're doing fine. Even if you have an audience of one, even if you have an audience of zero, do it anyway, because what you're doing is totally, totally cool. And, don't worry about those kinds of things. So yeah, yeah. Um, so let's see. I think what you know, I was thinking, sometimes things just sort of pop into my head, and I think it was this morning. I don't remember exactly when this popped into my head, but I was thinking, well, I got a question, right? I got a question in my head. Cheers. Should pull up the chat here. Sorry I'm late. Needed to finish up to be efficient. Yeah, yeah. Got a really big day. Cool, cool. Uh, okay. So the question I had was, what interplanetary spacecraft are out there and operational right now? Right now is the, and I was sort of going through my head, ones that I could remember. Um, but yeah, there's probably a lot of them that I either am not aware of or forgot about, because it's um, unfortunate, I guess, but a lot a lot of well, I should say most science um, is done, without any attention whatsoever. It's just um, people um, doing their thing, and really, really into what they're doing, trying to figure things out, trying to understand stuff, having lots and lots of challenges, getting, having questions, and then getting an answer to one question, which spawns, more questions, and it's just this endless thing, right? And most of those things are done without any kind of fanfare, uh, no visibility at all, and the people doing it don't want that, right? They want their own satisfaction. They they do want to be able to talk about it, because scientists, that's the one thing about scientists, right? Is that they don't like to keep things to themselves. But that's the nature of science, right? Is sharing information, sharing and sharing and sharing, because well, one, it's very, very exciting, to talk about your work, right? And it doesn't have to be science, right? I mean, it can be anything, right? I mean, if you enjoy what you're doing, then you like to give it away, you like to share it, and I think that's extremely cool. And most scientists, don't necessarily want the fanfare or the accolades. They want to solve that problem, right? They want to figure that out because it's bugging them, right? It's chomping at them, and they wake up in the morning and it's nibbling, right? And it nibbles at them all day long, and they go to bed and they're laying in bed at night trying to go to sleep, and it's nibbling at them, right? And so they're trying to solve these problems, right? They're trying to answer questions, and that sort of goes back, to what I said right at the beginning of this live stream today. Is that if we didn't have that, right? If if we didn't have a button that said surprise me, right? Then be like, well, after a while, I've pushed all the buttons and there's nothing left, right? But when you push the surprise me button, then it's like very, very, very cool. So if you've not seen the Farthest Journey story, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Gilles, I was actually lucky enough to work with Voyager data um, after the encounters and all that with the planets. Um, they they essentially turned Voyager into a um, astronomical um, 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 observatory. There's a um, ultraviolet spectrograph uh, on both of the spacecraft. A pretty low resolution, but good enough. And for years, I don't know if it's still operational now, but for at least 10 years, if not more, um, they pointed that spectroscope at stars, galaxies, whatever else, and actually collected some pretty awesome um, data. I was also involved in a project that archived that actually had to um, parse and archive the commands sent to the Voyager spacecraft, and so uh, I got to work with the actual language that Voyager read and understood, and I had to write code in order to parse that and sort of um, put it into various categories and stuff. So Voyager is actually very, very close to my heart. Voyager was probably um, Viking and Voyager were sort of the first two um, spacecraft that I was really aware of. Um, Viking to a certain extent, and Voyager much, much, much more, because I was older then, right? Um, uh, so yeah, the Voyager was absolutely awesome. Voyager is still operational now. As I said, I don't know what they're doing. We can actually look here and see, but I think their power supply is almost almost used up. Now that doesn't mean it's going to like stop, right? It's moving. It's actually one of the fastest um, moving spacecraft um, we've ever built. Um, So I mean, you know, it will continue forever until it runs into something. Maybe it'll run into a you know, um, super race of machines, and they'll turn it into some kind of an intelligent thing and send it back. And that would make a good story. Wouldn't that make a good story? Yeah, I think somebody should jump on that. So I thought what I would do first is let's just run through the list. It's just a Wikipedia thing. I went to the NASA site um, to look for those things, but I was sort of like, you know what? I'm not going. I mean, space exploration, right, is not is not just a NASA thing. This is a human thing, right? So there are a lot of space agencies around the world who now have spacecraft out there, um, and so yeah, you know, why limit it to um, one agency, one country, when when this is, you know, a planetary effort. I would like to see much more cooperation. There, you know, we could do so much better if we were together when it comes to at least space exploration. But there's a lot of mistrust, of course. There's a lot of fear, um, and and so unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Um, and you know, the only thing I can do, right? The only thing I can do is um, uh, I can trust them, and I can not fear all those other ones, and want to work with all those other countries, um, and at least, you know, if nothing else, I want to cheer them on. You know, even if they're sort of doing the same thing, you know, that somebody else is doing, there's a lot of redundancy, right? Um, which is why cooperating would be better, so much better. But okay, you know, have to accept the fact, I guess, that's not going to happen, at least, you know, near term. But I'm hoping, you know, 10, 20 years, we can sort of, you know, just chill out, just chill a little bit, and you know, realize that you know, doing things together is synergistic, right? It's so much better, so much better. Anyway, so let's look at yeah, Jill. You and I think are almost exactly the same age, almost exactly the same. So um, uh, so yeah, we sort of grew up and experienced the same eras. So yeah, I was also 10 through well, actually 79. Most of 79, I was 11, I guess. But yeah, you know, same eras, same eras. So let's. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to hide that. We're going to go to infinity. I'm going to go over to my Discord. And oh, now I've got to go all the way to the bottom here. I was looking for that thing. Let's see. Okay, give me a second. Jump to present. Hey, why don't I do that? Jump to present. What an amazing concept that is. Okay, so list of active solar system probes, at least according to Wikipedia, is usually a pretty good source. So, okay, I really didn't. Okay, so this is operational as of December 2016. Let's see. So here's this. Here's the sun. Here's the sun. Okay, here's Mars. Here's the Earth. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a confusing graphic. It's pretty busy. So let's forget about that one. As I said, this is not an educational live stream. This is you and I finding out things together. So okay. So en route, um, there's Hayabusa 2, which is going to an asteroid. And I think this is I want to say that this is a sample retrieval. Is it? I don't know. Should we find out? Yeah, let's find out. Asteroid sample return. Yeah, by JAXA. So very cool. So they're when uh, when are they supposed to get their landing date? December 2020. Okay. So a couple more years until they get to this asteroid. 162, 173. So, okay. Yeah. Hopefully it's a good one. And then Osiris Rex, which is also a sample return mission. Also, that's the United States, of course. I was really close to getting a job with these guys, but they turned me down cold. It would have been a cool mission. Cool mission. Barking barking doggies in the background. So those are sort of on their way, right? They're not there yet. Looks like we've got 2 missions around the moon. Now, the LRO I knew about. The Artemis, I don't know if I don't remember if I heard of that one or not. So they originally launched as Earth satellites, and they were later repurposed and moved to lunar orbit. Huh. That's pretty interesting, huh? Three of the satellites orbit the Earth within the magnetosphere, while 2 have been moved into orbit around the moon. Those were renamed Artemis. Okay, so Themis and Artemis. Acceleration, reconnection, turbulence, and electrodynamics of the moon's interaction with the sun. That's cool. Okay. So let's see, what do they have on board here? So measuring the electric field, they've got a flux gauge magnetometer, 2 kinds of magnetometers, electrostatic analyzer, solid state telescope. Huh, okay. Pretty cool. So yeah, measuring magnetic fields, electric fields, particles, whatnot. And then, of course, there's LRO, which has been up there for quite a while now. Yeah. See, 2009. And, this is something that I need to uh, dedicate a daily live stream to. Is we need to go look at the moon. You know, they've got images, right? And I think I want to say that they're pretty real time. I mean, I don't think they're updated incredibly frequently, but yeah, just some. Let's we should we should look at the moon. We should spend one of these live streams looking at the moon. You know, the moon is a really, really, really big place, and LRO offers pretty high um, resolution data, right, on this thing. Um, and look, it's got 6 instruments: cosmic ray, telescope, radiometer. Um, so this thing called LAMP, which is looking at hydrogen, Lyman alpha, uh, is is a hydrogen series in the ultraviolet. Yeah, in the ultraviolet. So yeah, search for water ice. Oh, they're looking for hydrogen, at at least. So neutron detector, lunar orbiter, laser altimeter, and LROC, lunar reconnaissance orbiter camera. Yeah. The mission is returning approximately 70 to 100 terabytes of image data. Woo, man, that makes me hungry. Cool. Yeah, we're going to have to go over there and see if we can look at some of the pictures, some of the latest ones, and some of the older ones. I have absolutely no idea. But if they've got 70 to 100 terabytes of images, oh, come on. Yeah, we can spend weeks on that, right? And then they've got a radar. Cool. Very cool. So those are 2 spacecraft that are at the moon. It looks like they're both orbiting, right? So at least according to this list, there aren't any active landers or anything. I know China put a rover on the moon. I want to say a year ago, a couple of years ago. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Um, so okay, so yeah, Akatus Akatsuki Akatsuki, um, kind of interesting, failed to enter orbit in December of 2010. It continued to function and entered Venus orbit in 2015. So Akatsuki is orbiting Venus right now. And let's see, do we have any instrumentation instruments? I always like to look at the instrumentation, right? Okay, so they have a lightning and air glow camera. Cool. Wow, they're looking for lightning. There's an ultraviolet imager and infrared camera. Um, Actually, they've got 3 infrared cameras and this thing they're calling an ultra stable oscillator. Cool. Very cool. So that's in orbit around Venus right now. I I guess I just didn't know. I didn't know that we had spacecraft at Venus. I'd like to, yeah, man, I want to see if this kind of data is available as well. Status. Let's see status. The orbiter started its 2-year period of regular science operations May 2016. Since 9 December 2016, the near infrared 2 micron camera is unavailable for observation due to an electronic failure. It's 1 micron camera, long wave infrared camera, ultraviolet image, blah, 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 continue normal operation. To image lightning, um, the orbiter has sight of the dark side for about 30 minutes every 10 days. No lightning has been detected. Wow. Wow. They got to keep looking. Okay, so we've got a spacecraft around Venus. Now I'm going to sort of skip the Mars ones. I did a live stream on the Mars spacecraft. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was a month ago or so. I don't remember. I don't I'm not going to pay any kind of attention to that. But we've got a lot of shit at Mars, right? Lots of stuff at Mars. It was, yeah, um, Tony Darnell that said nothing's going on at Mars, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And so I think I dedicated that day's live stream to going through all these spacecraft and because it's like, come on, dude, there's so much going on at Mars. Um, it's kind of interesting, and I haven't confirmed this little tidbit of information, but the surface area of Mars is very close to the land area of Earth. So maybe that sort of gives well, it gives me um, sort of a sense of perspective in terms of how much area we're dealing with, right? I mean, there's a lot of dry land on Earth, and that's all of Mars. So you know, there's a lot going on there. So heliocentric orbit, I'm not quite sure what they mean. I mean, heliocentric orbit is or an orbit around the sun, right? Um, okay, so it sort of looks like Chang'e 2. It's sort of like Change 2, Chang'e 2. Um, let's see, is an unmanned lunar probe that was launched 1st of October 2010. Um, uh, first phase of the tornado. Okay, but okay, so destination moon, right? So then it left the moon. So it got to the moon on 6th of October 2010. It left the moon 8th of June 2011, went to L2, right? L2, which is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun. It's a Lagrange point. It left L2 in April 2012, going for an asteroid, which it arrived at on the 13th of December 2012, and it left. Um, okay, it looks like that was just a flyby, right? Because it arrived and left on the same day, so that was just a flyby, and now it's just in a heliocentric orbit. So it's just um, orbiting the sun. Let's see. I start getting into this, and it's like, man, I wanna find out what it's doing and what instrumentation it has, uh, and all that. Um, L2 mission. So China isn't going to say a lot about what their spacecraft is, and you know I can understand, I guess, where they're coming from, trying to be secretive and everything else, because everybody else behaves the same way. So they're really just sort of behaving like everyone else to a certain extent. Um, but yeah, oh, how do we how do we get them to open up a little bit? I don't know. I don't know. Um, the probe is being used. Okay, so yeah, it's just out there. It's just out there. Okay, so that's not necessarily next to anything at all. It's just in a heliocentric orbit. Of course, we have Juno, that's around Jupiter right now, doing awesome stuff. Um, New Horizons, which is flew by Pluto a couple of years ago and is now on its way to. Um, I think there's a different name for this astro, or well, it's not an asteroid. It's a Kuiper belt object. It's a well, I guess you can call it an asteroid. I mean, it's a big rock out there. I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it's very big. Um, let's see. They're calling it Ultima Thule, uh, trans-Neptunian object. Yeah, it's just way out there. You know, they saw an opportunity to fly by another object out there, and yeah, take it, man, take it. And in fact, I think they have ideas that they want to continue this kind of thing. You know, after they do this flyby, uh, you know, maybe they'll do you know, one or two or three others. I don't know how much energy New Horizons has, but it's nuclear, so you know, it probably has a pretty long lifespan. Cheers. So it looks like Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, as at least as of this entry, um, is still is still going. Let's see, as of November 2017, it has a distance of the sun of about 140 astronomical units. So that's 140 times the distance between the Earth and the sun. Um, and it will not be overtaken by any other current craft. So it is the furthest thing out there, and it will continue to be the furthest thing out there. Um, and it looks like it's still operational. Let's see. Since we were focusing a little bit on that, let's see if it says anything about what is going on with it now. Let's see, blah 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 blah, all this cool stuff. This this is kind of a cool um, trajectory map. Look at that. It's just, you know, as it moves away from Earth, it just you know, from our perspective, it's just spiraling away. Look at that. Yeah, wow, that's very cool. Spiraling effect, of course, is caused by the Earth um, going around the sun, right? So there's we're just seeing parallax here. It looks like it wobbles. But yeah, they did do a thruster test back in November, and they worked. They worked. But oh man, it doesn't say of Saturn, termination shock, heliosheath, heliopause, interstellar medium, future of the probe. Okay, Voyager 1 is expected to reach the theorized Oort cloud in about 300 years and take about 30,000 years to pass through it. Though it's not heading towards any particular star, in about 40,000 years, it'll pass within 1.6 light years of the star Gliese 445. Um, Provided Voyager 1 does not collide with anything and is not retrieved, blah, 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 blah. 2017 announced successfully fired up the trajectory correction maneuver thrusters. Um, the thrusters will be used in the place of a degraded set of jets, which were used to help continue to transmit data for 2 or 3 more years. 2 or 3 more years. And then, okay, so here we go. Here we go. Um, so, okay, so the ultraviolet spectrometer, that is the instrument that I actually saw and used data from was shut down in 2016. Boo hiss. Data tape recorder is going to look like it's going to be ending this year. Gyroscope operations next year, and then 2025 to 2030, it's not going to have enough power for any of the instrumentation anymore. So sometime between 2025 and 2030, we will hear the last from Voyager 1. So, you know, that's a pretty good life, right? I mean, it was launched in 77, and it's going to end its life, you know, maybe 2027. So that's 50 years. It's not bad. It's good engineering. Voyager 2, let's see. Voyager 2, let's see, future of the probe. Let's go down and see. So looks like pretty much the same timeline, right? Yeah, that makes sense. They were launched pretty much at the same time, so they're going to have about the same lifetime for sure, So yeah, you know, what a amazing engineering feat Voyager is and was. Just, you know, just incredible. You know, I mean, see, this is what I mean, right? We humans are capable of incredibly awesome things. You know, we just have to to do it, and you know, quit fighting, and you know, keep doing awesome things. And Voyager is a good example of that. You know, of you know, great engineering, um, uh, extremely flexible spacecraft, um, that you know, just gives and gives and gives and gives and gives. So let's see, it's 117 AU away. So they show a path. They don't show the same path that Voyager one has, but yeah, very cool. Um, Rings of Neptune, yeah. What, you know, what an amazing opportunity to you know, be able to fly by you know, the 4 outer planets. Bang, 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 bang. Right? That's amazing. What a lucky time, right? I mean, that couldn't happen. I mean, it couldn't happen now. There's no way. There's no way. So very cool. Very cool. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go back. So yeah, these were some older missions that are no longer operational. Of course, Pioneer, very cool. ICE is out there still too. Yeah, I forgot about ICE. Giotto is out there still. Is Giotto? Giotto isn't operational, is it? No, it can't be. Genesis. Yeah, I don't remember hearing about Genesis. Of course, Rosetta is no longer operational. They landed the probe on, you know, the surface of 67P, so it's just sort of sitting there as a piece of junk. Messenger, I think they slammed into Mercury. Yeah, they crashed it into the planet's surface. ExoMars, Yeah, that crashed. And Cassini, of course, they just deorbited that last fall, and after an absolutely spectacular, uh, like 20-year mission, right? I mean, it was launched on the 15th of October 1997, and they crashed it in on almost exactly 20 years later. Cassini was just absolutely amazing. Now, one spacecraft that I don't see on here that I remember, and maybe there are others, and why isn't why isn't Galileo listed on here? I mean, Galileo uh, went went to Jupiter, um, but it was a huge disappointment, a huge, I mean, I mean, dare I say, a failure, because they either failed to deploy, or they had some kind of a problem with the high gain antenna, and so they were only able to use the low gain antenna, like 40 bits per second or so. So you just, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with New Horizons, but I want to say that New Horizons isn't pushing out much more than that either. But for some reason, I mean, they designed Galileo to push a lot of data, right? So they didn't put an, probably enough capacity in terms of storage, um, data storage, in order to save all that so they could slowly transmit it, all of that. But yeah, um, that's an interesting thing that it isn't on this list. Hmm. I mean, yeah, it was a disappointment, um, but it should be on this list. It returned science data. It returned images. It did all of that. So yeah, don't know. Don't know. All right. Well, I think I'm pretty much up to date now on what's going on in terms of uh, uh, solar system probes. I was just, as I said, that sort of popped into my head this morning. It's like, I don't know if I'm really up to date on. Um, I don't know, why isn't this there we go. Hello. um, uh, I wasn't really up to date on what spacecraft were where, right? I mean, you always hear about Mars, because everybody's excited about Mars, and they also didn't that list didn't hasn't included Insight yet, which was just launched a couple of days ago to Mars. Also didn't mention TESS. Um, Technically, TESS isn't a solar system probe, right? I mean, it's a satellite. It's going to L2. Um, so yeah, maybe it shouldn't be on that list. And yeah, okay. So they also plunged Galileo into Jupiter. That's the best way. I mean, we're always sad at losses, but really, we have to be really, really, really careful how we move around and stuff, because if there's life, right, we don't want to mess with it anywhere. So we don't want necessarily our junk flying around. That's why sort of you know Rosetta doing a soft landing on 67P it's like, oh man, you should smash that thing into there. So, or send it away or something, um, because there's possible contamination there now, um, and you know we may go back at some point and you know jump onto that comet and run some tests and say, it's like, oh, we see bacteria that's just like Earth. And it's like, oh, yeah, Rosetta, dang. So, Parker hasn't launched yet. So, can't really claim that that's a solar system probe yet. Parker is launching towards the end of the year, isn't that right? I think so. I think so. So that'll be extremely cool too. Yeah, there are other spacecraft that are. Um, I'm looking at the sun and looking at the Earth and all that, but I was just interested in, sort of the solar system probes, this, the spacecraft that are out there either orbiting or doing flybys or whatever else. So anyway, and yeah, this is just a way to sort of, you know, let me um, do some investigation, um, find out, and share with you. So, and that's what it's all about, sharing the passion. So, all right, well, cheers. I'm going to take one more big gulp of this. And then I am going to, let's see. Yeah. The mothership is calling. So I've got to get up. I've got lots of work up there in the ship, and yeah, sometimes they get a little antsy, when I'm too long. So oh yeah. They are signaling. So I better get back up there. So until tomorrow, enjoy. Have a great evening. Have a great day. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs down. Uh, make some comments if you want. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that. Spread the word. Spread the word. I've got 88 subscribers. I'm getting really close to 100. I don't think I'll ever do it. So make me a liar. Make me a liar. Um, yeah, I I'm not motivated by subscriber numbers or view time or anything else. My motivation comes from elsewhere, and it's just sharing the passion. I'm doing this anyway, right? I mean, I've been doing this. You know, I'm thinking astronomy for my entire life, and I I purposely have sort of a pretty calm, um, boring life where I'm not running around. I'm not, doing all these things that take me away from home. So I'm here anyway. And in the evenings, I want to sit back. I want to relax. I want to think all things astronomical. And it's like, well, why not share it with a bunch of friends too? So that's exactly what I'm doing. And this is not a chore. This is not um, a thing where it's like, oh man, I've got to do that again and all that. I um, honestly, I think if I didn't have the alarm on my smartphone, um, I would probably forget most of the time because I'm thinking about other things, and so um, the alarm goes off, and it's like, oh yeah. And so I've got a 15-minute um, um, window, to set everything up, and that is super easy. I don't have to hurry. That's one thing that I absolutely hate doing is hurrying. I hate hurrying. I think more than anything else, I hate hurrying. I don't hate anything except hurrying. So, and yeah, Brussels sprouts. Yeah, I don't really like those either. Um, just kidding. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, they are really, really, really screaming now. So, all right, toodaloo. I will see you on the spin tomorrow. Don't get dizzy. Hold on to your hats. It's a smooth ride. But I will see you again in a little less than 23 hours from now. Okay, peace, cheers, and all of that. All right, bye.